Welcome back for another episode of the Stay Sharp Podcast. I'm your host, Tom McGee of Stay Sharp Personal Training. And as always, 90% of the 100% of the time, we got Carlos Aguilar of Ugly Guppy Productions back with us today. Carlos, how you been?
Good. We're recording live in person, which we haven't done since the first episode.
Exactly.
Right?
I think,
Might just be only the first. So, I mean, like 3 years ago or something.
More than that, yeah.
I'm in the Stay Sharp studio here where the magic happens.
Where the magic happens, yeah.
I'm good, Tom.
I'm glad to have you here. And before we go on, this is a momentous episode for us. Before we go on, though, remind everybody what you do over there.
Oh, yeah. So I'm the owner of Ugly Guppy Productions. We do screen printing, embroidery. I don't know if some of you guys may be watching this on video, but these snazzy Stay Sharp podcast shirts.
What is this thing here? What do they call these things? I'm not used to these.
Yeah, he's not kidding either. But anyway, we do T-shirts, embroidery, promotional products. It's Ugly Guppy Productions, 281-704-4534, or just uglyguppy.com. And yourself, Tom, where are we sitting at?
Obviously, we're sitting here in the middle of Stay Sharp Personal Training. We do personal training, specialize in one-on-one. We do have some groups. I have a couple of trainers that do small group training. Basically, whatever you need, we have it here on site. That was the whole purpose of building this facility. We wanted a place where you could come. So no matter what kind of goal you had, whether you want to get ready for a wedding, just look better, feel your best. Perhaps you want to be a competitor. I have one of my trainers here. She's actually competes. We can get you ready for that. We've got the training. We've got a kickboxing, boxing coach. We've got a certified nutrition coach. We've got a certified massage therapist. We've got the spray tanning. We've got the posing room. We've got another building we're going to have the Pilates and the different yoga classes. So pretty much whatever it is you want to do, whatever interests you, we're going to have it here on site, and everything is rocking and rolling. And if you're interested in anything that I told you about, just contact me at 281-799-2339. We'll sit down, we'll come up with a plan, and we'll work out something that works good for you and works good for us. So anyway, like we said, and before we go on, we just had the big grand opening party. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for coming out again in the cold. You hooked us up. You got this. What do they call that for the windows?
Window perforator.
Yeah, man. Everything it looked fantastic. You came out that morning. You hooked it up. Like I said, again in the cold.
Yeah.
You and your guy, man, y'all did a fantastic job. And not only that, you weren't kind of happy with some of the stuff you'd done, so you redid it. Man, and that's just professionalism. And that's why I've been. I told Carla we've been together for forever, me and Carla, but me and you, man, that's back to the unsung wear days. That was right when you were first starting.
We were learning, man.
That's like 25 years ago. And I've always been with you. You've always done a great job. You still do. And that's why we still use you because, you're cool. We're friends and all, but you don't keep using somebody unless they always come through. And you came through for us again that morning, and I just wanted to let everybody know that I appreciate it, and that's the kind of work you do, and I couldn't recommend you more, and thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate it, Tom.
No.
I wanted to, even though it's night, and sometimes it's hard to see at night because you can see through it with the lights on the inside, but I just wanted it to be completed and finished before your big event. So, we came out that Saturday morning. I met my guy here at 7 in the morning. The funny thing is, I had went out that night before with my daughters. So it was a late night, man. So I got to be there at 7 o'clock, man, So I was like, gee, I was nervous about it. But no, we came, we got it squared away, we did all that. Then I had to go to another business meeting after a year, so it was a full day and then come back in the evening, But so your grand opening,
we
man.
Had grand opening, which you made sure we were ready for. What did you think of it?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the DJ was good, the food was good, the people, everybody was friendly, and everybody, we got to tour your facilities. So your washer and dryer back there in the back, man. Your vacuum cleaner.
For all the towels, for all the
no, but everything came out really good, man.
Yeah,
I think that was a good success, and the gym itself just looks incredible. So
and I want to thank everybody that did come out, especially people that hadn't seen it forever. I was surprised to see some people. I was so happy Dr. Miriam came out. She came and got to get a tour of the place, and like I told her when she came, if I never met you, it's like that butterfly effect. If I had never met her, there's no gym. I'm not training anymore. I'm stuck in a job that I was hating, and hating life, and it's just funny how one little thing happens and it affects everything else from you down the road. And so I was happy to be able to show her, look, you're a part of this. You helped make this happen. And so I was glad. I was glad to see everybody. I was glad to see you, your family out here. All the crew was out here. And like I said, I'm the kind of guy that I didn't expect anybody to show up. I'm thinking it's just gonna be me and you looking at each other, listening to the DJ eating some food. But no, we gave the food truck a certain number to expect, and even then I was like, we're never gonna hit that number. He came to us and said, "Hey, we hit that number. What do you want me to do? You want to keep going?" And I was like, "Man, just keep serving people." And it ended up being like almost 2 times as many people.
Wow.
Yeah. So everybody enjoyed the food.
We went back 4 times.
Yeah, that was you. That was you. He said.
No, but the food was really good.
Yeah,
it was good.
But that night when I ate, my food was cold.
Yeah.
By the time but then we had the little Super Bowl get together. We had a little bit of leftovers, so I got to eat some that was heat. Man, that food was really good. And so everything was really went really well. I was really happy to see everyone, and it is just how ironic that we had that big grand opening, and now here we are. We're doing this episode today, the 100th episode. Most podcasts don't get there, we did with stops and starts, but we're here. I mean, what did you think? Did you think we'd ever get to this point?
Yeah, it only took us 15 years.
Who's counting?
I mean, no, I don't know, because I remember we went through several Christmases and several Thanksgivings and several Astro seasons and all that kind of stuff, and I think during COVID, and all of that stuff, so it has been a little bit of a minute, but no, I mean, I never really looked forward, we just kind of doing it.
Just keep going,
But I've enjoyed it, there were times where our scheduling was really tough, and it got to be like, what else can we talk about, but no, I've really enjoyed it. I enjoy it still, and I'm happy about that, and that's a great milestone, and congratulations to you, congratulations to us, congratulations to everything here. So man, how about you? Did you think we'd get this far?
No. I didn't know what to think, because there was like really no plan. You always hope you would. Remember, we made a big deal when we hit 1,000 downloads.
Sydney, that was
Australia. And we still have people listening in those places. So no, I didn't think so, but eventually you would get there. The funny thing is, when we have our long droughts, hiatus, people ask, "Man, what happened?" They think we had a falling out or something. No, it just things happen. You're not able to get together, and really once I decided to go through with the gym, I kind of put everything else on hold, and I kind of wanted to make a big deal about the comeback with the podcast, the opening of the gym. But I think maybe if I had to do that over again, I kind of would have kept pace and let people know as the progress was going, because that was one of the big questions, is people knew the gym was being built. How's it going? They want to see pictures, and now I kind of thinking, man, that kind of would have been cool to keep updating people, with the progress.
And also build anticipation, build the following, let them know, to get the word spread out, know. So,
but you live and learn. Maybe the next gym.
We'll keep people for the 200 podcast.
200. We'll make sure time the opening of the second gym with 200.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome.
And like I said, I knew eventually, obviously, we would get to this point. And doing the research, it's surprising. I think the percentage of it is like in the 90s that don't ever get to 100.
Really?
So I would get congratulations, I guess, because of the network we're on. They keep track of it, and I guess it would come out as a notification to other podcasts that so and so reached 100 episodes, and I get these congratulations and stuff. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I guess it isn't that it's kind of a rare thing, and we achieved it. So I'm gonna have to make a trophy or a plaque, and we're gonna hang it up somewhere. But remember when I did the microphone for the 1,000? So we'll do that again. And once again, I appreciate everybody who downloads the episodes, who listens. And I have friends and family. Every once in a while, they make a comment that, "Hey, man, I remember when you said this or that," and like, wow, you think you're just talking, nobody's listening, but when I look at the program on the computer, it's getting downloaded,
Yeah.
and people tell me stuff and mention quotes, from the podcast.
Those are called bots.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So yeah, it's always a good feeling. It makes you keep wanting to do it, and now that there's some excitement, there's other
Well,
ideas and topics.
well,
That
now you
come
got
in.
momentum. Now
Yeah,
you've got
exactly. And we
these
just keep
other
it rolling.
trainers and
Yeah,
these other occupations that
yeah,
tie in.
yeah,
We've got you got the opening in the gym. Now
yeah,
now we're getting back on
yeah,
track.
yeah,
Um, I was at the time that you were building the gym. I was in that other class too, so
yeah.
I was kind of
The
everything
timing
was
would have been
timing.
bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And now my evenings have been freed up, and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. Because it wasn't in school, I was doing studying or whatever
right.
the case was.
Yeah,
So yeah. Now we got traction, and now we got
yeah. And like you said, it was hard to come up with topics all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And now I've got like the other trainers or other people that I've met and stuff like, hey, asking me if they can be guests, and it's like, well, yeah, that makes that helps
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because
And
everybody's got
then
a story.
our topics can be talking about that.
Yes,
What they
yeah,
said.
yeah,
Because I
exactly.
just heard the one with the young woman that was in the Navy and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So that was pretty cool, pretty
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So yeah, that's yeah. So yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
so I'm really looking forward to that, and I'll think back on all the different topics that we did have. Were there any in particular that stood out to you or that you really
I
liked?
do have things that I've learned from the 100 that I actually made some notes about it.
Uh-huh.
But one quick little side anecdote is that my middle daughter today got accepted to do an MBA program, a master's
Wow.
program. But she emailed me, and she's like, I don't know if I'm going to do it or with this and that. And I said, well, what are the drawbacks? What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks? Why is it and why are you wrestling or why is the question? She said, well, it's this many $1,000 and it's this, and it's going to be really hard. So I drew and I said, like in my life, I've had like ups and downs, that twists and turns, but
Right.
I feel like it's guided me there. It's like a river, and it
Yes.
guided me there. Like you
Yes.
said, it's no happy coincidences.
Yes.
The you meeting the chiropractor, all that kind of stuff leads to where we are now.
Yes.
I said, so we've established a philosophy on the podcast that is, if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards.
Right.
That there's no standing still.
Exactly.
Standing still is going backwards.
Yes.
So I said, this is gonna make you more marketable. This is gonna make you, the money, the thousands it costs, you'll make that maybe annually from here on out because
Right.
of it. And you never turn down training. You never do so. I drew on the podcast a lot when I was trying to,
Right.
this just happened today, so we don't know what's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure she's gonna take it,
Okay.
but she had little,
Of course.
doubts or whatever, or little like she wanted to hear it
Right.
out loud or something.
Yeah.
But I drew on the podcast and I draw on it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the phrases, some of the things, some of
Yeah.
the mindsets, I draw on it a lot, and it comes up more than you would think. Especially talking to my daughters and things
Right.
like that. Some of the things you said to burn the bridges, or if you
Yes.
think you can, you think you can't. You're
Yes.
right. Whichever
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The mindset and all that stuff. So that's my little side anecdote. So
Yeah.
back to the question. What exactly was the question?
Things that we picked up
Okay.
along the way.
So
in the
I've got
podcast.
one
Yeah.
primary thing. I've made some notes, man.
Mhm.
So the main thing I picked up from the first 100 is awareness and mindset. Okay, awareness, and this is coming from those classes also, the business
Yes.
classes, and it's all kind of the same thing.
Yes.
Happy oblivious. It's not. Once you start seeing things like maybe you wouldn't have considered those opportunities when you weren't looking for them, but
Yes.
now everything you're looking now you're kind of like, if I see a shirt, I look at the print. I can't
Correct.
see a shirt anymore.
Right.
I see the print, but you're training your mind to look
Yes.
to always be looking for opportunities for this, the people, the meeting. They're not chance encounters.
Right.
There are no coincidences, like you
Right.
said. So the biggest thing I had was a shift in working out and in business,
Right.
that it's not the 90-day program. It's not the 30-day program. There is no finish line. That is
Right.
probably the main thing that I learned to shift, because I was doing the P90, 90 days or 30 days or 60 days. But
Mhm.
after that, it'd be, you go right back to where you were. So
Right.
this had to be a permanent, it's a lifestyle change, but it's more of a mindset change.
Yes.
You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to give up everything, but you have to have awareness
Yes.
that when you're doing something contrary to your goal, that it's going to set you back, or that
Yes.
it's not going to be as fast at the end. But I was completely oblivious. So I just stopped the program, and then now what?
Yeah.
But now you finish that when you go to the next one,
Exactly.
or you up it a little bit, or you
Right.
maintain it, or that. So the mindset, the mind shift is not a sprint, it's a marathon,
Right.
no finish line,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
those are probably the main things that I learned
Yeah.
during this, and it really transformed my
Yeah.
my perspective and my my outlook on life,
Yeah.
and I think for the better.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. Nothing we're saying here is brand new.
Right.
We're not inventing nothing,
Right.
but sometimes the way you repackage it and put it out there, you just need that, right? You need to hear it sometimes from a different voice in a different way. And like me, with my clients all the time, same things we've always said here, same things I use on them. And just to get back to what your daughter was telling you, and the fear and the cost and all that, that came up a lot with the gym. And people would always ask me because when they walk in, they can tell we spent some money on the place.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
They would always ask me, what was the cost? How much
Yeah.
did this thing cost you? What, golly, this had to have cost a lot. I said, the way I look at it now, it's not the cost that it's costing me. I always tell them it's the cost that it's saving me. Because my biggest fear in life was laying on my deathbed thinking, what if?
Yep.
Or if only. Like if I'd only taken my one shot, if only I'd have gone for it. And I said, I will never have to worry about paying that cost again.
Yeah.
I said, whatever the monetary value that I had to pay here, just the inner peace, the inner mind, and I hope it's not tomorrow, but knowing that I could die with like a clear conscience, knowing whatever, win, lose or draw, I went for it. I won't ever have that regret. I'll never have to worry about and waiting for my chance and all that stuff, because that's one of the things too that when I think about all the things we would talk about, I kept thinking, if I only got my one shot, if I only got my one shot, if somebody gives me a shot. And finally I came to the realization, nobody's going to give you a shot. You got to take your shot.
Yep.
And that's when I finally, let it sink in, that this is it. Now or never, I'm going. And once I decided that, and once I realized this is going to save me from and I had a real fear that, because you believe you're capable of so many things, but there's that fear, like, well, what if I step off that ledge, and I fall and I can't fly like I think I can. But now, you know, I never have to live with that fear again, that I didn't go for it when I had the opportunity.
And there is you've aligned yourself
Yes.
with people to help you propel you, because what happens a lot in business, what I learned from these business classes, is that somebody's good at something. You're good at training, you're good at lifting, you're good at getting results, but that doesn't mean you're good at paying employees and paying taxes or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now you're kind of aligning yourself with the people you need. You need a bookkeeper, you need a whatever, a social media person and all that kind of stuff. So that happens. You're good enough that'll carry you through till you're gonna hit a wall.
Right.
You're gonna need things that you don't know or not comfortable doing or don't want to spend all that time doing. You know what I mean? Even if you could do it, you know what I mean? So you've done a good job on doing that. You're meeting your partner. Like I said, there's no coincidences, man. It's all. I feel like it's guiding you, it's pointing, but also you're open to the idea because now you're looking for it, and it's there and it presented itself. And the same thing over there, I expanded the unit and I bought more machines and I'm still going through it, but it's the same kind of thing. I would really be scared to do that before, or I'm real happy with the status quo, but these classes and this and seeing you and everything, it's really kind of emboldened me, and it's so far it's worked out well in my favor every time. So you'll have a hiccup or you'll have something that didn't work out exactly the way you want or cost you money. Like you said, this thing is expensive. It looks gorgeous, but that's the least part. You figure that out, man. So no, that's awesome.
And that's one of the things, and we've talked about in the past. As long as you have that why, if you have a why, the how will take care of itself. You just got to have that why. Like I mentioned before in the podcast a long time ago, even my alarm that I need, you can label your alarm. My label on my alarm is why. This is my why. This is what's getting me up. And sometimes, because it's not always easy to pop up at 4 in the morning, and I have to remember, why am I doing this? And once I remember, I get that first leg on the floor like we talked about. The second leg's easy. The second leg will just follow. It kind of like knows, okay, this is what my part is now. And yeah, I fall back on a lot of the things that we've talked about all the time. And that's another thing. We've sat here for now 100 episodes preaching this stuff and talking all this stuff. And as I was fighting with myself, that inner turmoil, whether or not I was going to do this gym, how can I be telling people go for it? Go for it, go. And I wasn't. To me, I was like, man, I'm just a big hypocrite, you know. And what better way now? We can sit here, and I mean, you've always been able to say because you've already been on your own, but now I can sit here and say, look, I did it.
You know, our the thing that trusted us is obviously different, you know, but the results the same. It could I could have been, you know, a bum. I could have been just whatever, man. Oh man, I got a bum rap, or whatever. Life just
you could have
isn't
just
fair.
you could have played the victim
But
card.
So you know, a funny thing too on that little conversation I had with my daughter today, I was like, I was in the fire department. I had benefits. I had insurance. I had things, but I didn't like it. You know, and I work now 40, 50 hours a week, and I love it. So what's the deal? I got guided. It got the little river flowed me this way and flowed me that way, and I was there, and it was prestigious, and it was this, and I had status, and I had benefits, but I hated going to work. You know, and then it's funny because I heard you say the same thing. You know, and it's just it's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't the thing that brought me joy. It was stability. It was status. It was you know all the things that, but not the real things that done it. You know, so that's funny because that came up today, and I just you were saying kind of the same thing on your deal.
One of the quotes, you know, because I'm always reading quotes that kind of led me, like pushed me over the edge to go for it, is I read this quote that said, "A salary is the bribe they pay you to give up your dreams."
That's good.
And I was like, you know what? That's true, man. I'm just comfortable here taking this money every week, you know, and but yet, yeah, I got that money, but how much is your happiness worth? Like, you know, this isn't paying for my happiness. I'm not happy. You know, there's got to be something better out there, and just like we always preach on the show and all these things, and like I said, I'm happy that I can look here, look people squarely in the eye, and say, yeah, all those things I told you, we did it. I did it. You know, and I'm not telling you, and I'm just not talking out of my butt. You know, this is real life, and now people will be able to because they're going to be following what's going on with the gym. They're going to see, and hopefully that'll motivate somebody that's like on the edge, teetering. You know, should I? Shouldn't I? You should. I'm just telling you, you should. And you know, and sometimes I feel bad when I talk to my friends that are in the fire department because, you know, some of them are legitimately happy. You know, and it's hard for them to understand that I wasn't. But then there's other ones that are kind of like, man, you know, I want to leave too. You know, go, man. Quit waiting every day. You don't have another day. You got one day less. You know, and that's one of the things that you know we talk about the hourglass. I knew my sand was just going away.
And for whatever reason, HRD's morale's been down for 30 years.
Right. Yeah. As long as they've always been. Yeah.
It's a. I mean, this is a big city bureaucracy kind of thing, but it's always been the stepchild. It's always been second thought, you know, and nobody's like, I mean, people like it, but they're not like, I won the lottery, woohoo, you know, yippee, or whatever. You know, I see a lot of them even jump into neighboring little smaller things because the pay is more, the respect is more, the work is less, you know, and when we were at, you know, 46s and, you know, all that stuff, man, we 24 hours meant 24 hours, man. There was no, you know, if you got 30, 40 minutes of sleep, man, you're doing all right.
That was a lot. But, you know, and I've talked to other people too in different careers, and I would ask them, because you think it's only you, but I think a lot of it out there in just that world, if you're not the master of your own ship, you know, they're going to steer you any old kind of way. And that's one of the things I'm so grateful for is like I no longer have somebody else, you know, telling me, you know, that you got to do this, you got to do that. And just, like I said, that happiness and that independence is like this liberating feeling, you know, and I, you know, I'm just,
I've done it for 20, going to be 24 years. I had the company now. So I've been solely on the company. So maybe 19 years or something like that. And I love it. So it's like you said, man, I write my own ticket. You know, it's great. It's freedom, blah, blah, blah. Of course, it's on the flip side. You're kind of slave. You're married to it, man. You're married to it. But I love it, you know, and I couldn't say that before, you know. So.
And I have to say that there's that little bit of fear too, because now, you know, that paycheck isn't guaranteed, you know, every 2 weeks like it used to be. But, you know, I'd rather have that. You know, I know it's all on me.
I agree. I agree. And as going in front of you, I think you're doing the right thing. And I think if this feeling's not going to fade, that's the thing. It's not a fad. It's not just, okay, it's brand new. It's 5 minutes old, you know, let me work here for 3 months, 6 months, and then see how I feel. I don't think it's going to fade, you know. You've already had the passion, the spark, and all that, and you got in the right circumstances to make it happen a little bit ahead of time, I'd say, you know, because that was pretty quick, man, you know. So, but that's awesome, man. That's great, man. You know.
And one of the things too. So one of the it shocked everybody when I decided to leave. Because like I said, the original thought was everybody thought this guy's about to leave his side job
Yeah.
to go do that. Nobody ever thought I was going to leave the fire department
Yeah.
because I would have been leaving a lot of money on the table. So I scheduled a meeting to go talk to the retirement people to find out what exactly do I have coming to me. And everybody kept asking me like, "Is there a number? Like, what's your number? Like, when they're going to give you a number, what is it?" Because I never had even logged into the computer to look.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a login, so I had no idea, any idea of what was in there,
Wow.
what was waiting for me.
Yeah.
So I was basically going to have this meeting to find out. And when everybody kept asking me that number, I sat down and gave it some serious thought, and then I said, you know what? What really finally, when I decided, I don't care what they tell me, I said either that number is going to be so good I can leave,
Yeah.
or that number is going to be so disappointing I need to leave.
Yeah.
Right now, what am I wasting
Yeah.
more time here?
Exactly.
So one of the things, when I showed up that morning of the meeting, I told the lady, I said, look, let's make this fast. Just give me the paperwork to sign out.
Oh wow.
I told her, I don't even know what's in there. And I told her exactly, I said, I might owe you $10. I said, I don't care. Give me the paperwork. I said, and she thought, she goes, well, look, I have to sit down with you, go through these
Yeah.
checklists just to make sure you're making the rational decision. I said, okay, whatever. I said, but just know that I'm leaving no
Yeah.
matter what.
I'm committed. I mean,
So then when
yeah.
she asked me, what's your login? I said, I'm never logged in. She said she had never had anybody just walk in and said I'm leaving, and it didn't have no clue, never even logged into the
Wow.
to the computer, and that's what took the longest is her getting my
Password.
login. Yeah, getting my login because we couldn't make the password work.
Oh my
And
God.
finally, when they got it, and they gave me the numbers and whatever they were, what they were, and and it just that feeling of relief.
So were they too good that you couldn't pass it up, or were they too bad that
Well,
you had to leave?
it was a little bit of
A little
both
bit of both.
because
Okay.
obviously I didn't max out, right?
Yeah.
Because I was leaving early. I was surprised by what was in there,
Yeah.
but that's what it was. I walked out a happy man. I had a client to get to. I was worried I was going to be late, but it all worked out in the end. And then of course when people found out, they were shocked, like they couldn't believe that I
Yeah,
had
it was
done it.
sudden. It was sudden, man. Like it was. Yeah, we've been doing this podcast, and I
Yeah.
mean, you said this is the goal, the ultimate
Yeah.
goal, but you didn't mean like 10 minutes from now,
Yeah.
man. You know?
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all the stuff that we learned now, thinking back to all these years that we've been doing the podcast, 100 episodes, if we had to start all over, is there something that you might think about doing different?
Well, I thought about that.
Uh-huh.
No, I won't say different. It
Right.
was great. It's fun. We learned like the microphones didn't work. The
Yes.
guitar at the beginning. We didn't know what we were doing. So
Yeah.
the technical part, I would
Right.
have been a little more practice on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think the only thing that would have been different today versus then is like ChatGPT to
Yeah.
give us ideas, to give us topics, to
Yeah.
give us talking points, or for content.
Mhm.
No, I don't think I would have done much different because I learned a lot all going the way. I
Yeah.
changed my mindset. I became a believer, if you will.
Yeah.
I became a fanatic, a zealot. I've gone to all these classes for my business, but it's kind of the same thing. That's my passion. This
Yes.
is,
Yeah.
no, because I think it was cool for me, our podcast. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would have made it a little more polished for the end user, maybe.
Right.
But
Yeah.
short of that, no, I think the discovery was the good part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah. We definitely learned as you go. And now I don't know if you remember, there was that. I wasn't sure the first episode was ever going to get on the air because I didn't know
Oh,
how
you
to
know how
put
to
it.
do it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I knew how to record it, and then I want to say we recorded it around a Thanksgiving.
Well, we
And
did
then,
several of those.
yeah, we recorded the first one, and then it was like it didn't come out like till late December because I finally figured out how to get it uploaded because my original podcast I didn't handle any of the IT stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
so I knew how to record, I knew what program to use, but as far as the other like more advanced technical stuff, so and once again, necessity is the mother of
Yeah,
invention. I
yeah.
was like, okay, well, I got to learn. If I want to make this happen, and there were people that used to listen to the other podcasts, and they would always tell me, "Man, y'all you need to come up with your own one. Do something on your own. Don't just quit." And so it was one of those things, and I always get into that mindset, not letting people down. People were like really like, "Come on, you can do it," and I'm like, yeah, I can. Let me figure out how to do it, and so yeah, eventually when that first one came out, okay, This was and then yeah, then we had to figure out the microphone things, and we still only have one microphone. We still got to figure it out, but learning, when you were at home and we do it online and
Well,
all
I
that
did
stuff.
it backwards, facing the wrong way, because I thought it was like the TV microphone, and it sounded like I was in the shower
Yeah.
underwater. Remember?
I'll never forget one of the
Yeah,
comments. One of my friends
man.
said, "Why is Carlos recording while he's taking a shower?"
And it sounded terrible. It was nothing but like back sound and
Uh-huh.
buzz and hiss and all
Yeah,
that. You could barely hear me,
yeah.
man. I was like,
Now, as
that's
bad as
crazy.
it sounded, though, that was one of the ones that I really had to put in the most work because when you weren't talking, I had to go in
Oh, it's
silence.
silence. Yeah, because of
Yeah.
that hiss,
So
man.
it was one of the most time consuming, but I knew we couldn't go back and just like re-record it because I
Yeah,
forgot what we
yeah,
talked about. It was
yeah.
something like it was like a big deal, whatever the topic
And it
was.
was early. It was like
Yeah.
within our first
Oh
five
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So as the way it came out, yeah, it wasn't great, but still, I was kind of like proud that I was able to figure out how to silence it and all that. Oh man,
Yeah.
it was such an ordeal. But
Yeah.
yeah, anything else that you would go about
No,
differently?
I don't think so. Like I said, we kind of grew with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't take that experience away from me. The only
right.
thing I would do is, like you said, little polish, little this,
Mhm.
maybe a sponsor or two,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that would have been
But
good.
yeah, but no, man, I attribute it to a lot of the things I'm doing now.
Right.
The phrases, the burn the boats, all of that kind of stuff, man. It's been eye opening. It's been inspiring. It inspires me, and I hope that it inspires some
Yeah,
people out there.
yeah.
These little phrases. I know they're everywhere. They're like
Mhm.
from the Seven Habits and all those kind of
Yeah,
things. But I mean, they're there for a reason. They're
yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like you said, just to hear it out loud, just to hear
Yes.
it. It's not. We're not splitting the atom.
Right, right, right.
It's elementary. Do your work. Do what you're
Yes,
supposed to do. Don't do
exactly,
what you're not supposed to do.
exactly.
But
Yes.
it's also not an easy thing,
Yeah.
or it's the simplest thing, but not the easiest thing.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So no, I've enjoyed it. I think that was a very good. I cherish that experience. I think it
Yeah.
was educational for me. I kind of went through a couple of different people from when we started to now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
no, I think it's for the better.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
no.
One of the things if I could go back and do something, I think I would have tried on the technical part, taken that more seriously,
Yeah.
learn how to do that better, get more advanced quicker. Uh, I think maybe like when we've had like when we talked about the atomic habits and stuff,
Hmm.
maybe like find some like guests that could talk more, authoritatively on that stuff. And but other than that, if we would have kept it more timely. But schedules are schedules.
Yeah.
There's certain
Yeah.
things you can and can't do.
I think we did pretty good
We
for a
did.
long time,
Yeah.
man. A long time. We would do one a week, and we
Yeah.
would just, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And this guy wants to start at 9:30, 10 p.m., man.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. It
man,
worked out.
get
Yeah.
out of here, man.
Yeah. No, I know it was
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
because and then too, like sometimes I'd gotten off of a 24-hour shift, gone straight to the gym, trained people starting at 6 a.m., get home at 9, and then try to sit down and do the
And you had to eat something,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then I had my grandkids, like,
Yeah.
y'all go to the room, y'all be quiet. Y'all be quiet for an hour,
Yeah.
man, when I do this,
Yeah, but we did it, man.
Yeah,
We kept going, and
yeah.
I thought they all came out pretty
I
good.
thought so
Even the
too,
ones where we sat down with absolutely no idea what we
Yeah,
were going to talk about,
yeah.
they still came out
Yeah,
good.
no, we actually did. We
Yeah,
winged a lot of them,
yeah,
and once we kind of got going, it was just
yeah,
organic. I don't know who would want to be out there listening to two idiots
yeah.
just rambling, but I guess they're out there,
They're
man.
out there, yeah. Because in the end, we're just having a conversation,
Yeah, yeah,
and we obviously it's got some kind of little topic, right? But that's what kind of made it easy, why we could just start talking
yeah,
because it is a conversation.
yeah.
We talk about, and you're coming from real life experience. What I was talking about would always be from a real life experience, and I think that's one of the things too is all these things we're talking about, everything we actually are applying them in our real life. You and your business now and for me, it was always just with me and my clients, but now I've got a business
Yep,
too,
yep.
and people are able to see that in real life time. It's not, we just came, and just start talking and preaching, and we go back to whatever
I
real
don't
life
think
is.
that we've ever fabricated a
No,
story or
no,
anything. Everything we said is
yeah,
100% legit. I
yeah,
mean, these are experiences that we've had
yeah,
and things that we've been through, and we don't. We I hope that nobody's ever got that impression that we're just you're just blowing smoke or whatever, man. Because this is all for real stuff, man. You know,
it's real life. We were flying by the seat of our pants.
yeah,
Man. Yeah.
I mean, word, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. But you know what? Okay, so that's what I tell people when they say, "What's it like now having your own business, like a real business?" And that's what I tell them. I said, I feel like I'm on like this. I was on this roller coaster, and once we got to the very top, and all of a sudden I'm going down now.
Yeah.
And it's scary but
Yeah,
exhilarating,
yeah.
and you're just going through all these twists and turns, and it's just it's frightening sometimes,
Yeah.
but still it's exciting, man. I wouldn't trade it.
And you happen to have you always have to go to work at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning,
Yeah.
and guess what? You're in the place now that
Yes.
anytime that you're
Yeah.
available now, it's part of your day because
Yeah.
you don't have to go anywhere. You're
Yeah.
here, so that's awesome. And I wish you the best, man.
I appreciate it.
I'm confident you'll do well. I don't know how exactly this businesses work, these kind of businesses, but you got the stuff, and let's spread the word. Let's
Yeah.
get it going.
Yeah.
And no, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have been able to do these podcasts with
Yeah.
you. So
No, yeah, I am too. And like you said, a lot of the stuff, like, when we talk about the last episode we were together, the stuff that you had said and that you had been employing throughout the show that you were telling me about, I hear you say, joining the Chamber of Commerce, taking
yeah,
these guys.
yeah,
Now I'm actually employing those because I learned through the podcast and listening to you. And like I said, I see it's working for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Like, why? I've got a playbook established. Like, if I just follow it, which I would have never known if we hadn't sat down and talked about it on the podcast.
And what it is too is not going to be a one for one reciprocity
Right.
or whatever payback, right?
Right.
When you join this chamber, you're gonna meet people, you're gonna do things and
Yeah.
whatever. But 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, it's gonna come
Yes.
back around,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be, oh, I know that, or I know that person. They know me. They've
Yes.
seen me,
Yeah.
and that's when it starts to do. So
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of stuff, and I'm getting a lot of stuff, and I'm doing a lot of stuff from those things. But they're not right away. They're not.
Right.
It's not a sale. Right.
Right.
It's
Right.
not a sale.
Right.
It's a deposit. Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what it is.
That's exactly how you look at it.
But you got to keep them up, and you got to stay, and you got to
Yeah.
regular, and they take time, and they take effort, and you got to go
Yeah.
somewhere, and you got to do things, which you pulls you away from what you're doing, but they're investments.
Yes. It's exactly. If you want something, you got to give something.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it's really your time.
And they pay, man.
Yes.
They pay
Yeah.
in many ways,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot from all of these kind of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've become known in these circles. That's how I got in these classes
Yeah.
first, all through these chambers and
Yeah.
through these Hispanic chamber business little forums that I go to, and there's bookkeepers and social media, but you start to know them, you start to
Yeah.
meet them, and they start to know you, and then
Yeah.
you come up organically.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and that's something I'm looking forward to. And like I said, if it had not been for the show, I'd been ignorant to the whole fact. Hey, if we hadn't done this show, I might not be sitting in this gym anyway. Because a lot of the impetus of this gym was, man, I've been telling these people this whole show,
Follow
you got to
your
go for your
dreams,
dreams.
yeah.
And here I am not. And that I'm not gonna lie, that was a big part of. You're not gonna live up to what I've talked about, and it would just gnaw at me. And and now we're here today.
Well, you've always projected that because you're like, I need to be in shape because I'm a trainer, and
Right.
I don't want to be like, you're
Right.
talking all this and you're that, and I need to go for my dreams because I'm telling people. So
Yeah.
you're genuine,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
And like I used to tell you, those trainers had over there by what is that? On 290, I forget what, LA Fitness or one of those, man. They were like used car salesmen,
Yeah.
man. They were the sleaziest word. Like, man,
Yeah.
personal trainers are like a dirty word, man,
Yes.
forever, man.
No, I
So
get
this
that.
was like, okay, all right, well, maybe there is an honest one among the
Yeah.
bunch, man.
Right, yeah.
Or something. Cause man, I was like, geez, man, like,
No, yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I didn't like being in that atmosphere. That's why I quit
Yeah.
the big
Yeah.
the big gyms and stuff and went on my own.
And it's high pressure sales, and
Yeah.
it's high just that sign this,
Yes.
this many sessions, blah blah blah, and it's just, and then when you ask for favor or advice, they're like, no, I'm busy holding this wall up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No, I get that.
yeah, so that's good. That's awesome. This is a good place. I've trained with you, and I
Yeah.
know people have trained with you, and you're genuinely looking for their best.
Yeah.
For their,
Yeah.
it's true motivation. It's
Yeah.
true knowledge. It's true. It's good.
Yeah.
If you consider it, if you're on the fence,
Yeah.
I recommend it coming out. You know.
Awesome, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And now we've got the environment that I
Yes.
want. You know,
Yeah.
the look. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're coming here, and like I said, it's our like little universe. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, everything now is exactly where I want it to be. Where I feel like okay, now we can really make a difference. But so we talked about what we learned and what we did in the first 100. Like looking forward to the next chapter, the next 100. Is there anything like you're looking forward to do or any
No, I
plans?
did take some notes on it. And for the next 100 episodes, I noted that that's definitely more of a Tom question than a me question, because your stuff is going. I realize the family is grown,
Yeah.
so I don't mind taking a smaller role if necessary or filling in more as necessary. But I know you got several
Right.
trainers and different. And you know what? It may be nice to have like a nutrition episode or
Yeah.
something like that. So I'm here. I'm here for as much or as little as you want or need. I'm here for every week or I'm here for
Yeah.
once every whatever couple of months or whatever. I'm here. I no, I don't have anything specific, but I'm available. I'm ready,
Yeah.
willing, and available. So
And I think a
yeah.
good idea would be like, when we'd have guests in the past and you'd listen to the interview,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the episode, we would be commenting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a cool
Yep.
way to
Yep.
handle all that too, because
So
that
it's content for one thing,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we'll
there's
have to.
that word again,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's 100 contents. It's
Yeah.
not an easy
Exactly.
thing to
Yeah.
do.
Just coming up with titles.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I almost gonna put the next one. The next one.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's something I look forward to. Like you said, the different, and that's what's kind of cool though too is all of them are excited to come on. They can't wait till they
Yeah,
get their chance,
yeah.
and they want to know, what can I talk about? Claire, I don't know if Claire was worried about what she was gonna wear, how
Yeah.
she's gonna look, but that's cool, to see that type of excitement because it keeps you motivated. It makes me motivated to sit down here and talk with them, and because this 100 for us. It's first
Yeah,
time for
yeah,
them, and,
yeah.
and they're happy to have their family listen to them and all that stuff. So that gets me hyped that I want to present something that they're proud of, and they all have something to say. They all have things to add to the show, and yeah, no, I'm really excited about it.
Everybody loves talking about themselves. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you give them a little bit of that, And then the funny thing was, I didn't think I'd like that, especially before we started. I wasn't much of a public speaker or anything like that, but doing this, going to those chambers, I had to talk to people. And I took my youngest daughter Samantha with me to a bunch of them because she's corporate. She's corporate. She's been corporate, so she knows how. She just shakes their hands and just goes into the thing, and I'm sitting there like like.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've over the years I've done that, and the second class that I took, the second program I took, they had me speak at the graduation, and I'm like, "Are you sure you we good?" I'm like, because they got people that won't shut up.
Yeah.
Like, you sure that this one and that one won't be better? Nah, we don't want this one, that one. We want you because we want something real,
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did have to do that and speak in front of whatever 100 people. 'Cause it was 2 classes or something, and so and this I attribute that to this as well. So it's kind of I'd never really done any of that kind of stuff before.
No, I get that. Yeah. So yeah, I look forward to those kind of shows. I've also got there's a woman that I follow, and she's big into manifestation and seeing things. And I had wrote her and I told her what was going on with the gym, and she got really excited. And she's actually in Spain. She has a YouTube channel and all that.
Yeah.
But she said she'd be very happy to come on the show,
Wow.
and I want to talk to her. So you were talking about how once you start seeing opportunities and stuff like that, she's big in. They call it the reticular activating system of your brain. And basically all that is a fancy word for saying there's a filter in your brain. And because of your attitude and the way you look at things, you set that filter to only see certain things. Right. And once you change that mindset, change your filter, you start allowing opportunities. You start seeing she's big into that. I'm big into that. And I look forward to her coming on and discussing it and things like that. I'm going to have you saw the people from were they here yet? The people from the calendar, the firefighter calendar? Yeah. So we're gonna have them on talk about what they do because it's not just getting in front of the camera and taking pictures. Something they're doing it for a reason. They say it to help autism research, and so we're gonna have them on. We'll see who comes. Maybe be on the show and talk about it.
Funny little side note about that at your party.
Uh-huh.
So Aaron Bond,
he runs it.
He runs it.
Yes.
He sat next to me in fire school.
Yeah,
right? He was my neighbor.
Yeah.
Right? He's right next to me. So then I was introducing him to my family, to Bertha and to my kids, and Bertha was like, "Man, that's a cool shirt." And I made it, but she had no idea.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And he was
yeah,
like, duh, you
yeah.
know. So I was all right, okay, well, that's
Okay,
cool. Because they had that
yeah.
little whatever it
Yes,
is with
exactly.
the
Yeah.
puzzle pieces in
Yes.
it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it was just hilarious. And I was like, well, hello, man,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was funny. But
That is
that's
funny.
cool, man. He does a lot of. We do all
They
his
do.
stuff, and we've
Yeah.
been doing his shirts and banners, sponsor banners for like 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
now, man. And he's a really good guy,
Yeah,
and
they're
that's a
good
good
people.
program,
Yeah,
man.
they
So
do.
yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
yeah,
It's good
you
to be
know.
a part of it.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things too. So you know you're doing something good, but then knowing that I got to go and take those pictures, it keeps me motivated,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
I always have to find something.
yeah.
I can't just wake up and let me go. I have to have a reason.
It
I
gets
always
like
have a
that, you
goal.
know. Yeah,
You got something to work for, and that's what keeps me motivated.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think I'm really going to be a lot more. Uh, Trying to get some guests that can come on and can add to the show and because like I said I realize there's people that really want to come on the show and it's weird through that program that I told you I get emails from people saying
Oh,
hey I'd be interested in coming on your show but
really?
a lot of the topics that they have or that they say they would talk about I don't really see how we could
Mm.
fit them into with our topics and what
You're
it is.
talking about the thing that you use to
It's
broadcast or
called
to.
Buzzsprout.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
people that I guess somehow they monitor it and
Hmm.
they follow whoever whatever you do, and so that's always a cool feeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's going to be people that yay, I think you'll fit in perfectly. And
They're called bots, man.
but anything, as long as you can talk for about 45 minutes, I don't care.
Yeah.
AI is a great thing
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, just like the crew members that come in and talk about because they all have these interesting stories of why
Yeah.
they do what they do, how they got into it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to having them all on.
And everybody's why is different. So to hear somebody else's why,
Exactly.
it could be like what he said. Maybe they want the dancing girls, or
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah.
case is, man. That's
Exactly.
their why,
Exactly. No, that's true. Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
hey, we're
Yeah.
not here to judge your why. Everybody's got their
Yeah.
different whys, man.
Yeah.
So.
So an interesting thing too, going back to the first episodes. I don't know if you remember, one of our first guests that we ever had on the show was Mindy. Remember
Oh, I
Mindy?
was thinking about that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
was
actually, she's
thinking
coming
about
by.
that
She,
today.
she I hadn't heard from her in a while, but she's coming by tomorrow, as a matter of fact, to
Wow,
work out. And I haven't
excellent,
seen her. I'm so excited to
excellent.
see her. So yeah, all these people, everything just like
Well,
comes around full circle.
the one you had with the young woman that went to the Navy reminded me a lot
Carla, yeah,
about
yeah,
the Mindy because of
yeah,
the same thing. You kind of had pinned
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of hopes on her
Right.
to
So we had
yeah.
Mindy on the show because Carla didn't make it on that show.
Oh,
She
okay,
was
all
the one
right,
that was. Yeah,
all
it's funny
right.
how all this thing comes
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
like we said, there's no happy coincidences.
No.
It's all a little pre-planned, or it all leads you somewhere.
Yeah.
It works out, man. So yeah, that's awesome, man. No,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about Mindy in a long time. Last
Yeah.
time she was getting married to that guy or
Yeah,
something like
well, they
that,
are
right?
married. That's she's married to that guy. Yeah, she's married to that guy. And so, yeah,
And so, yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Last time we really had a lot of good contact was when we climbed that mountain.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was quite an
And
experience. So
then
yeah,
I think I met her at one of your dinners for your
yeah.
birthday or for an
Might have
anniversary
been
or
my
something.
50th
Yeah,
birthday.
maybe it
Yeah,
was 50. Yeah,
that was a long time
yeah, they were
ago.
nice. Yeah,
Now that I
that was
think
like what
about
was
it.
that 45 or like Mama
Yeah,
Cena's or one of those
yeah,
places, right?
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, because yeah, that was my 50th birthday. And I just
She
turned
told me,
54.
she said, because I guess she'd seen me from the front from the podcast. She said, "Oh, I thought you were bald," but she didn't know I had all this back in.
So yeah, it was cool. Like I said, she's coming, and like I said, the people that came to the party, I was always so happy to see people I hadn't seen in so long, and people move away, but then they move back,
Yeah,
and some of them came because they wanted to check out the gym because they had moved back
yeah.
on this side of town, and they're excited to be involved. So there's a lot of good things going on. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward, to the new life with the gym, the next 100 episodes of the
Oh,
with
man.
the podcast, and so. Is there any like special shout outs you want to send out to anybody now that we're here?
I tell your mom, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Did you see her at the park? No,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't. I didn't really see
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
I saw your wife, but she was tied up.
Yeah.
I think I saw. Guess that was your son working out. He's pretty
Oh
big.
yeah, he works
He's
out.
pretty
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He's pretty slow. So that
Yeah.
was that.
That's my youngest son too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he was, and he worked out for a while.
Yeah.
And he's impressive.
Yeah.
So, um, No, I didn't really get to speak to anybody. I did
Okay.
speak to, is it the woman that's the masseuse? What was her name?
Oh, Claire.
Claire. Yeah, I
Yeah.
spoke to her briefly to
Yeah.
introduce myself, but
Yeah.
it was in the DJ room, and I don't have the loudest voice or anything,
Right.
you know,
Right.
so
Right.
made it very brief. Shout out to my family, to you know, to Bertha, my girls, to the girl Alicia to take the MBA program to
Yeah.
move forward. You know, like we said, you know, the little fear things holding you back, they're not real. So just
Yeah.
move forward. It's got a much higher ceiling than it has a low basement.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, so no man, I appreciate. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it's been really great. So yeah, no, just your mom.
And then I think about it. With Samantha, I remember when you first were printing, and you were like in her room, right? Didn't you have the printing
We
room?
had in
Yeah.
all the rooms,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the garage, in the kitchen, in the dining room, and yeah, we had the solvent printers over there.
Uh-huh.
We had all the rooms.
Because I always
man.
think about her, because whenever I hear anything about Lucille Ball,
Oh
because she was a big
yeah,
Lucille Ball
yeah.
fan
She
at that
was.
time,
She
right? Yeah.
was.
So
Yeah.
how old was she then? I mean,
Ooh, man, she's been printing her whole life, pretty
yeah.
much, man.
And now she's a grown businesswoman. That's
And you know, the
wild.
funny thing is, she went to Fidelity,
Uh-huh.
and now she goes to, like, how when Deferred Comp came to the
Yeah.
class and was
Yeah.
preaching it to us, so she was doing that. So she has to go to. She went back to Fidelity. She has to do her first one to Thursday, 2 days
Okay.
from now, and she ran it by me, the speech, and this one was I forget what they call it, estate planning.
Okay.
Which is like a weird topic, and then she tells a story of how she loves finance. She's always loved finance, and when she was like 12 years old, we took her to the Dave Ramsey, the Financial Peace
Oh,
University,
wow.
because we
Okay.
were in it, and she had to come with
Yeah.
us. She came with us, but she kind of stood out. There was some Lucille Ball talk, and she was all in there,
Wow.
and since then she's like, that kind of sprung me in my financial career, and I've always been. She's a budgeter. She's like, she like, I with her husband, I'll be hanging out. I said, man, we can't do anything unless it's on the spreadsheet,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
accounted for,
Yeah.
accounted for, and so. Yeah, the Lucille Ball. That was the big topic at the little. It was like in a church,
Yeah.
where he has those classes, and
Yeah.
she was like the life of the
Yeah.
class. It was hilarious, man. So yeah, no, she used to watch those.
Yeah.
Just
But that's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. No,
So-
thinking back to all those times.
Yeah.
For me, if I have any shout outs just to my family, to the crew that came with me, to you, you've been there since the beginning. Like I said, you've always helped me out. With the shirts, any ideas I had coming through for me on this. So, like I said, anybody that I always send them to you, regardless of what it is. Even if I don't know if you do it, I said, man, he'll figure it out.
Some yes, some no. You know how it goes. We
Yeah.
figure it out. See
Yeah.
if it's a fit, just like everything else.
Yeah,
But,
and
I
then
appreciate that.
everybody else that's lent a kind word or supported or that listens to the show. All those bots out there, I want to special thanks to them. But other than that, like I said, just a big thank you to everybody, and I hope they continue to listen. I hope they come in and support the gym, support the show, and I'm looking forward to everything. And other than that, Carlos, I'm looking forward to episode number 101 next week. And until then, everybody stay safe. See you next week, and remember, stay focused, stay disciplined, stay sharp. See you next week, everyone.